from my work already. And as Joe pointed out, I have 4 episodes of Katie Keene to catch up on. I've talked about Katie Keene before. I have 4 episodes yet to watch. I am behind. Katie Keene is the new young version of Sex and the City. That's what I call it anyway. And I have been enjoying that. Obviously not as much as I thought, as I have let 4 collect now. But I will get back to it. Wanted to go on to today's topic, and after I had posted a picture of our amazing lasagna, I kind of documented Joe's whole process of, start to finish. And in one of the pictures, there was a jar. That's right. We use jar sauce. Oh my goodness. My Italian friends went crazy. My girlfriend, Denise, who had actually given me the boil lasagna noodles, wrote, "Wendy, I love you, but I see a jar in there, and that is a huge no-no." So if you want to go back and read some of the comments from my friends in the hood, as I like to call them, it's pretty hysterical. So it's on the post that I put up from Sunday. There was a bunch of pictures that I had posted. So if you want to go back and read that, let me know. Or just go ahead, feel free to do that. So I wanted to know from you, when it comes to cooking or baking, are there any shortcuts that you take that you don't necessarily want anybody to know about, just because of the fact that they'll kind of give you a hard time over it? It doesn't matter to you. You just know that other people will be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Denise says that she uses jar sauce all the time and a jar canned gravy for beef stew. Connie says, next time don't put the jar in the picture. It looked good. I like jar sauce. It doesn't bother me. I have said this over and over again. We are Irish. We are not Italian. This seems to be most important to Italians. In fact, Josanne had commented, "Who's giving you a hard time over using jarred sauce?" And I said, some of my friends in the neighborhood. And she's like, "Who still uses jarred? Who doesn't use jar sauce in this day and age?" And I said, apparently all the Italians. I'm okay with it. I like ragu. Now, I did try to keep the ragu label out of the picture because I figured I would get flack for that. But I was busted anyway. Kim says, I use rotisserie chicken for soups, chicken, and gravy over prepackaged mashed potatoes. There you go. Lori says, pre-shredded cheese. I also use lettuce in a bag. Janet says, I like Hunt's meatloaf fixins, taco, and chili seasoning packets. Yes, Joe, very big on the packets as well. Melissa says, I always use jar sauce. And everyone loves my lasagna. Ignore those judgy McJudgy pants. Thank you, Melissa. I also love stovetop and gravy from a jar on Thanksgiving. Donna chimed in. Melissa, I agree. I think everyone else thinks so, too. Let's call it our secret recipes. Martin says, we make homemade sauce most of the time. When we are at a pinch, we use jar. Use what is convenient for you. Don't let anybody tell you what you should do with your food. Good point, Martin. Marcy says, I use cake mix when I make decorated cakes because cakes from scratch are hard. John gave me the big OMG and then shamed me with a Gumby gif that said, shame on you. That's okay. I'm willing to take it. I can take it. Nikki says, I do that when I make chicken parm. It's okay to let it out. It's okay. Katie says, my husband uses an organic sauce he gets at the local store and adds his own seasoning and stuff to it. And I swear it's better than any homemade sauce I have ever had. And then she started a whole new debate by saying it's called homemade sauce because gravy is brown. I'm not getting into this, Katie. I'm not doing it. Diane says, yeah, this Italian does it from scratch for the most part. All but one. Cupcakes and brownies, they are in a box. Roxanne had an issue with the way I worded my post. Ripped, not intentionally, just volunteering my sauce in place of jar. She said, as for shortcuts, I don't make my own pasta, but would love to learn. Now, Roxanne was one of my favorite responses when the whole "I can't believe you're using a jar sauce" conversation was taking place. She just said merely, "Wendy, you have too many Italian friends to use sauce from a jar. Just ask one of us." Here's the thing, and I'm going to get into this a little bit because somebody kind of actually, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to go on to Marianne's response. She said, "It is in my guest's best interest that I use jar sauce. I have sauce from scratch and very good friends that make my mother's sauce, but it never tasted the same, even though I follow it to the letter. But I will crush anyone with my Irish soda bread, so it must be in the genes somewhere." Now, this is the post I wanted to get to. Dolores had said, "Haha, I saw the ragu jar. I kept your secret." And I came back trying to be funny, saying, "My name is Wendy and I love ragu." I was serious. I do love ragu. I have tried all different sauces. I have tried, and I'm going to say it. Don't crucify me. I have tried homemade sauces. I didn't like them. You know why? Because it's not what I'm used to. You love what you are used to, people. There is a bagel shop here in town that I love. Best bagels I've ever had in my entire life. Anytime I have guests, we get bagels from that. They rant and rave. "Oh my gosh, where is this bagel place? I'm going to stop on the way home and get bagels." The people from New York think they are the worst bagels they've ever had. However, if I had a New York bagel, more than likely I wouldn't like it because I'm used to the ones from here. So, with that said, I am perfectly okay with buying a jar of ragu. More than fine with it. I like it. It's what I prefer. So, Dolores says that she makes homemade gravy, and she goes on to tell me how to make the homemade sauce. Gives me the ingredients. It's simple. Blah, blah, blah. She said, "I'll teach you by video chat." And I said, "I really do like ragu. I'm good." I don't need to learn how to make the simple homemade sauce. I can buy it in a jar. It's fine. Kate says, "Please, if you like it, it's all that matters. It looked delicious. Tell Joe, great job." I did many times over. Kathy says, "Sorry, Wendy, I didn't mean to scold you. As an Italian, jar sauce is sacrilege, LOL. But lately, I have been buying ready-made meatballs from my butcher. I'm getting lazy." She is one of the people who offered to drop off some of her homemade sauce the next time she makes a big batch of it. Jim said Taco Bell. I'm not really sure I get it. He pass off his own tacos as Taco Bell? He buys them. I'm not really sure what you were saying there, Jim. So, but there are some of your responses to some of your shortcuts that some people may hassle you about or give you a hard time about. But you know what? You do you. That's what it's all about, right? Right. Moving on to the blog post for today. Now that we are entering week 3 of the self-isolation, quarantine, whatever you would like to call it. It's now the beginning of week 3. The recommendations have been they have been extended until the end of April. We're talking April 30th. So this is a new normal for some time. And I put up a picture of my daily planner that I use. And I wanted to talk about creating a new schedule for yourself because, hey, if you've been working from home now or are out of work at this time, it's likely you've had your new normal for a couple of weeks now. You were entitled to lay around and comfort yourself at first as you adjust to a new way of life. But it's more than likely time to come up with a new normal because, like I said, April 30th, that's the new target. That is 1 month from today. You must make a new schedule for yourself or you will likely sit in front of the TV all day. That's okay for a couple of days, not for a month, especially if you've already been doing it for 2 weeks. Now, do I sound like I'm scolding you? Do I sound like I'm lecturing you? I'm sorry. Sometimes we need a little jolt to shake up our world. So what is your number one goal right now? Getting all your work done throughout the day, finding a new job, creating or considering a new career path, now is the time. Put the time and effort into these things. Figure out the steps you need to take to get where you want to go, and then schedule out your path. There are some great books that will help you narrow down your goals into workable bites. A guide that will help you figure out your first steps to your ultimate goal. Now, one of my favorites is Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. She helps you figure out where you are right now to your ultimate goal and how to get from one mile marker to the next. She maps it all out, and you just have to fill in the blanks. One of the best and most productive things you can do is to make a daily schedule for yourself. As I mentioned, I included a picture from my own personal HPX Daily Planner from Brendan Burchard. I love this planner. It asks you questions every morning to get you in the right mindset. It maps out your goals and to-do list, and there is a recap at the end of the day with more questions to see how you did with your goals. Yes, this definitely takes some extra time in the morning, but I have found the 10 minutes at most it takes to go through the questions and planning out my day makes me 100% more productive than when I try to wing it. It also helps me decipher what works for me and what doesn't. Now, if you're looking at the picture, I realize I have only filled in the 5 and 6 o'clock hours. I have not filled out the rest of it as of yet. I have not figured out what direction I'm going to go. But it will be filled out. I kind of have a tendency to go crazy and want to do everything in one day. And ultimately, what happens is I become overwhelmed and get nothing done. I think about what I want to do all day without really taking action on anything because I'm too scatterbrained. I'm too all over the place. I've realized this recently. Now my goal is small, bite-sized chunks that will move me in the direction I want to go. This is more productive for me personally. Sticking to a schedule will help you come to these realizations. What works for you and what doesn't. Now, I start my morning with a little social media. Got a cup of coffee. I jump on Facebook and Instagram. I know I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't start my day off that way. And I have tried to put it off until after I do my gratitude journal and after I do my daily planner. But I keep coming back to it. I can't seem to kick the habit as of yet. So right now, yes, I'm still doing that. Not recommended. Then I move on to my gratitude journal and then filling out my planner. Watch a little news to find some fun stories to share with you. And then I get ready to start the podcast. Now, after that, I can go in many different directions. I can go back to bed. I can watch Good Morning America. I can work out. I can shower and get ready for the rest of the day. Knowing what my goals are for the rest of the day will help me figure out what I should do next. So having a plan is the most important thing. Following the plan, well, that is another story. I often write a lot of things down and don't do them. But try not to do that. Try not to put down things that you don't think you'll get to, because then you kind of develop this habit of not following through. And you're kind of lying to yourself. You're kind of breaking your promises to yourself, which is not a good thing. But you can't even try to start if you don't have a plan. Make a plan. Figure out what you want your days to look like for the next few weeks. Map it out and assign yourself some manageable goals. Don't make my mistake and try to take on too much, because then you will feel overwhelmed and likely not get anything done at all. Maybe you thrive in that type of atmosphere. It's not for me, but I think that small chunks, little bites, they will get you where you want to go. So, it is Monday. You know it's my favorite day of the week after Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a brand new week full of possibilities and opportunities, so take advantage of them and come up with that plan. We all need a little structure in our lives. So come up with the plan and go make today your best day yet.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure.